Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Good morning, Dave Scott right here in Civic Center TV, and welcome to another edition of The Splash. We get together, have our first cup of coffee together on Monday through Friday mornings, and welcome to this Friday. You are watching The Splash Live, part of our 90 minutes of live programming each and every Monday through Friday right here on Civic Center TV. Starts out very local with The Splash, and then Tyler Keefe will step in at 10 o'clock this morning for the Michigan MegaCast. Easy to watch these shows all over the internet, all over TV, all over the community. Of course, you can watch on CivicCenterTV.com. You'll find us right there in Comcast at channel 15. You can also watch on CivicCenterTV.com. I meant to say, of course, on cable. Then CivicCenterTV.com. Just go there and watch our live stream. Just go to the live link right in the home page. Of course, we are also on Facebook. So go to Facebook, search for Civic Center TV, and our program will be there, and also on the radio and on YouTube. So Lakes FM 89.3, Lakes FM, where hopefully you are tuning in as you're driving around the West Bloomfield area this morning. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. And then, like I said, we are on YouTube. So plenty of different ways to watch a program, listen to the program, and tune in each and every day. And again, an hour and a half of all just the good stuff, the local programming you're looking for each and every Monday through Friday right here on our various outlets. So start with the weather for today, and we are getting into more of a fall-like pattern. Today, look for partly cloudy skies. High today will be around 59 degrees. Tonight, a little bit of rain is going to move in. It's going to cool down. We'll be down to 42 degrees tonight, and I'm a little worried because that rain is going to sneak in right at the end of our Laker football broadcast. More on that in a minute. Weekend, not so bad, partly cloudy, 55 degrees. Enjoy what you have over the weekend, because as we get into next week, it's really going to cool down, and look for a rainy Monday through Friday next week. So big headline here, usually every Friday morning this time of year, is Laker football. We had a great broadcast last week and a great football game as West Bloomfield handled Oxford very well on the football field, and we were just delighted to be able to bring a broadcast to you that featured the Oxford broadcasters and also our West Bloomfield crew, Tyler and I and the rest of the crew. Tonight, we make our way back on the road as West Bloomfield is taking on Southfield A&T. This is a huge match. Southfield A&T is a great team, loaded with stars. So is our West Bloomfield Laker team. A lot of players on these teams that'll be playing football on Saturdays at some of the major universities. Names that you, if you're not already, are going to be very familiar with, and they're coming right from our community. Same thing over in Southfield. They got a great team there. So tonight is a really big test. Probably, we only got 2 games left of the regular season. Probably the biggest test we have left. A absolute must-win tonight for the Lakers if they want to position themselves well for postseason play and a run at the state title, or at least a run deep into the tournament. So, monster game, 7 o'clock. Over at Southfield A&T. It's the old Southfield High School after they closed down Lasher. So that's at Lasher and 10 Mile Road. Yep, had to think about that one for a minute. We will have the game live for you. I do want to be honest and forthright. Bally Sports is going to do a job tonight, and they always do a great job in these games. They will be there covering the game too. So, I hope you tune into our broadcast. Maybe if you tune into Bally, turn the sound down and listen to us. But we are going to have comprehensive video coverage as well as we can do with the limitations. We're not Bally Sports. We're a community television station, and we have very little room there. But we are going to do the broadcast tonight, and I hope you tune in right there. That's QR code to scan now. Then you can get the game on your computer. But again, you can watch it anywhere. YouTube, the school district's Facebook page, our page right there, that QR code. And of course, listen to it right here in 89.3 Lakes FM and watch it on Civic Center TV. In just a little bit, we're going to check in with head coach Tyrese Grice. He will tell us more about tonight's big contest against Southfield A&T, and we'll hear directly from the coach talking with Tyler Keefe. A couple of other news notes for today. Mark your calendar for Saturday, October 29th. It is DEA National Drug Take Back Day at the West Bloomfield drop-off location. It's happening there from 10 to 2. We're going to talk to Kurt Lawson of the West Bloomfield Police Department here in a couple of minutes. He'll tell us more about it. But really good opportunity if you have some needles or some really old drugs at your home that have expired. We don't want you to flush those anymore, okay? So it's a really good opportunity. See some people from the community and do what we're doing all across the nation here in West Bloomfield. Mark your calendar for Saturday, October 29th, DEA National Drug Take Back Day in West Bloomfield. Another good thing to mark your calendar for is the Big Heroes Breakfast. Now, that's an easy date to remember because that's going to be November 8th, Tuesday. Let's see what's going on. Oh, yeah, that's Election Day. So make sure you join us. We're going to be at the all-new West Bloomfield Middle School. The whole Splash crew, myself, Tyler, and all of our guys are going to be broadcasting live that day from the new West Bloomfield Middle School, and we'll have the whole Heroes Breakfast. It's a salute to those people that have given so much for our country and served in the military. We'll be feeding many of them. You can also join us. Now, if you want to do that, we invite you to register. Go to wbparks.org/heroes.html. And we'll get a link up on the Civic Center TV website for that at some point. But go register for the Heroes Breakfast. You're invited. And if you know someone who is a veteran, we'll serve them for free. So make sure you do it. Get people involved. Let your friends know. Heroes Breakfast, November 8th. Another big thing that we're involved in here at Civic Center TV is we salute the people that served us so well. Friends of the West Bloomfield Public Library are busy this weekend. They got a concert going on. Jim Beiser and the Diamonds in the Rust is part of the Music of Maine concert series. Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library will host this concert for one performance only on Sunday, October 16th. The performance will begin at 3 p.m. with the doors opening at 2:30 p.m. Show will be held under the tents behind the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Building at 4640 Walnut Lake Road in West Bloomfield. Limited seating under the tents will be available. It's going to be a little cool, but I think the weather is going to work out okay. You can bring a lawn chair to be assured of comfortable seating. Masks and social distancing are recommended. There's the talent that you're going to see. The concert is absolutely free. So go and enjoy that, and that is October 16th this weekend. Now, not right in West Bloomfield, but I think one of the wonderful resources we have in our area and in Oakland County is the Charles L. Bowers School Farm. And you might have seen it if you're driving on I-75 or Square Lake Road. It's a school farm from the Bloomfield Hills Schools. And they have their big fall festival going on this weekend. In fact, it's happening October 15th. It's fun for the whole family. Join them for a fun-filled weekend of farm activities, food, live music, entertainment, pumpkins, a bounce house, games, crafts, and much more. So that's all going on. By the way, I see a note on here that says there's going to be a beer garden for the adults, all put on by the Friends of Bowers Farm. Really cool place. You see it as you're driving down I-75 south of Square Lake Road on the right-hand side of the road. It's that big hill. They got a farm. There's a lot of really great history there. It's a great place and a fun place to go for a wonderful fall activity, and we hope you check that out and put that on your calendar. All right, so that's what's going on in our area. We're going to take a break, be back in a couple of minutes. Kurt Lawson joins us, the Deputy Chief of the West Bloomfield Police Department, and we're going to talk about crime in our community and the lack of crime in our community and a whole lot more. Don't go away. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Dave Scott. You are watching The Splash, and we'll be right back.
And now, back to The Splash, live. We'll be right back with The Splash Live. What's happening around you? Hear about state events, businesses, and from the people behind them on the MegaCast, an hour-long TV, radio, and streaming show keeping you informed on the day-to-day news. Listen in on talks with volunteer groups, documentarians, and financial advisors, Monday to Friday with your host, Tyler Kieft. Catch the MegaCast weekdays from 10 a.m. to 11 on Civic Center TV 89.3 and streaming on mymytv.com.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
And now, back to the Splash, live.
I'm not hearing any audio if anyone's talking to me.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. What's happening around you? Hear about state events, businesses, and from the people behind them on the MegaCast, an hour-long TV, radio, and streaming show keeping you informed on the day-to-day news. Listen in on talks with volunteer groups, documentarians, and financial advisors, Monday to Friday with your host, Tyler Kieft. Catch the MegaCast weekdays from 10 a.m. to 11 on Civic Center TV 89.3 and streaming on mymytv.com.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
And now, back to the Splash, live.
Hey, well, welcome back. I hope we got all of our audio sorted out. Even CNN has trouble with audio every once in a while. Dave Scott in our studio. Let's get right to him. Kurt Lawson of the West Bloomfield Police Department. Can you hear me now, Kurt?
I can hear you, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to see you via Zoom and right here on the Splash. I can tell you're in your office working hard this morning at the West Bloomfield Police Department, keeping it safe. Awful good to have you here. And I tell people how lucky I am to be in this community. We got a great community, great people, but all of the leaders in law enforcement and our first responders and our government officials are all really nice people who can communicate pretty well too. So it's really good to have you here. You could be hosting your own television show. Look at you, Kurt Lawson.
Thank you very much. Well, it's
Well,
great to be here.
It's
Absolutely.
good to have you with us today. A couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, the FBI every year issues crime figures for the entire nation, and we go and analyze that. Here in the state of Michigan, everybody assumes Detroit is the place with the most crime, but that's not true. Saginaw ended up stepping up the ladder. But the other good part of the story is that West Bloomfield and our surrounding communities have some of the lowest crime rates in the nation. And I wanted to have you on here and salute you. And I imagine that is part of the effort of law enforcement, but it's got to be part of a partnership with the community.
Well, first of all, our hats off to our men and women that are out there every single day. They're on the streets. They're going to every single community event that we can to try to bridge that, that partnership that we think is just so important. And I think that plays such a role in keeping our crime rate down, whether it's property crime, violent crime. We consistently, over the past 26 years that I've been here, have been in that top maybe 1% of state agencies or state cities that have very low violent crime and property crime. So, but you're right, it's that partnership that we have with our community, that if there is an incident, we're not crime free here, but when there is an incident, the community always steps up. They're willing to talk to us. They're willing to help. And that's what you need to have a successful law enforcement agency, is you need that partnership with your community.
Well, there's no question about it, and here in West Bloomfield, we're bucking a national trend, because all you got to do is turn on the news and you hear about crime problems in municipalities all over the country, and of course, it may be getting blown up for political reasons right before the election, but we have been seeing crime issues, and here in our community, even as it grows and we see our population growing, we still are one of the safest places to live. And that's because it's got to be because of hard work and everybody caring.
That's exactly true. And you're right. We have seen, especially 2020 was a horrendous year in this country. Obviously, we had COVID. Violent crime went up 30% in urban areas, 20% in rural areas. But really, here in West Bloomfield, we're very fortunate. We really were stable. We didn't see much of an uptick in violent crime or property crime. The one thing that we've seen a little bit of an uptick in the last couple of years, and it kind of goes with what's going on nationally, is we're having a lot of stolen motor vehicles. So, we encourage our residents to make sure that they park their vehicles inside when they can, or properly light your vehicles with lighting at night, or, put a ring camera on your house. That always helps us when we do an investigation.
Well, that is nice. And, I think one of the other things that we hear often from law enforcement and other people is not to leave conspicuous items in your car that might be attractive to somebody. That just is an added incentive, right, for someone to break into your vehicle.
Absolutely. And like you said, this is a very safe community, but there are still individuals that are going out in the neighborhoods night after night, and they're seeing who's going to leave their cars open or what valuables they can see within the car. So if you can do whatever you can on your end to deter them, bring your computer inside, your cell phone. Here's a nice idea. Don't leave your keys in the car. We've seen that several times. That does not help us.
Yeah, the days have changed. I grew up in West Bloomfield, and listen, I grew up on Maple Road. There was no Deerfield subdivision for people that live right in that area. The very few of the subs were here. It was farming community. When I was born 63 years ago here in West Bloomfield, we didn't even have locks on our doors. But it is a different time, and there are a lot more people here. You do need to be careful. So be vigilant, lock your doors, do what you need to do, and I like all of your advice. And just one other final piece of advice, Kurt. I assume it's also important to help the police. If you see something going on, don't be afraid. Pick up the phone and call 911.
Absolutely. The chief says this every time he's in public. If you see something, say something. Let us know. Even if it looks like, oh, it's probably nothing. We would rather come out, investigate it, make sure it is nothing. If you don't call us and it's something big, you're going to have a hard time ever forgiving yourself. So we are willing to come out to any call. We get, 20,000 calls a year here in West Bloomfield where we dispatch our officers. The community, hats off to the community that have invested so much into law enforcement, into public safety. And I think we've seen a great return on their investment.
I saw a note on Facebook this morning. We started to publicize this. October 29th, DEA National Drug Take Back Day, and we're going to be participating in that here in West Bloomfield as well.
Every year, it's amazingly successful. I know other agencies, Orchard Lake participates in it as well, but we get pounds and pounds of prescription drugs turned into us, and it's great just to get that out of your house, especially if you have young kids. Or if you have someone that's a family member that maybe has an addiction problem. If you're not currently using that medication, or you have old medication, bring it to the West Bloomfield Police Department, bring it to the Orchard Lake Police Department, and we'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, I mean, we used to just flush it down the toilet, but the DEA and police organizations, they don't do that anymore. Believe it or not, it creates a problem for our water systems, and it's not really the right way to get rid of
Let's go back into our water system. You do have some happy fish here and there, but really, we we recommend that you bring it to us or bring it to your local pharmacy to properly dispose of it.
All right. Well, I love the police, but I love Laker football a little bit more. Lakers Southfield A&T. You got a prediction for the final score tonight, Kurt Lawson?
Well, I'm always going to go with the Lakers. Outstanding team, but I think they're going to win by 14 tonight.
All right, 14 points. Kurt Lawson, good to see you. Thank you for joining us here on The Splash and taking some time with us today. So, speaking of Laker football, Coach Grice, the head coach of the football team, had a chance to spend a few minutes with our own Tyler Keefe, and they talked about that big game tonight and specifically how it's different than it was last year. Let's look in.
Well, they were playing them last year. They were very young. We were young as well, but they were very young. They returned 16 starters from last year's team. So now I think the big difference between last year and this year is maturity, experience, and the fact that the coaches back in their second year as a coaching staff, even though some of them have been there for years. I think that's the big difference, and they have an excellent year. The quarterback over there, Marshall, is having a phenomenal year. He's having a Player of the Year type season, and we're looking forward to the challenge that he's going to provide for us with our D-backs and our defense as well.
Yeah, really going to be an interesting dynamic there between the Lakers' excellent secondary, a secondary that's been stout over the last several weeks, and this wide receiver core and quarterback combination for the Warriors. Tashi Braceful, definitely the marquee guy there in the receiving core, and Isaiah Marshall, as you mentioned, at quarterback. What about this week in terms of preparation? Is your team focusing on knowing that they have that kind of game in the air, but also as a team that can run the ball really well?
Well, that's what people don't see is they see all the passing, the stats, and the highlights, but watching them on film, they run more than you expected. Yeah. So we're looking forward to seeing that challenge, and we just got to prepare for the passing game and the running game. And I think those two areas, that if we can beat those two areas and the kicking game, we can win this game convincingly. But it's a team that's very competitive. It's going to be it's a rivalry game for us. So they don't like us and we don't like them, but off the field we respect each other and we look forward because we're friends. They know they're players. They play together in youth league. So you see all that rivalry and going at each other, and hopefully we keep it clean and we want to keep it clean and have fun. And at the end of the day, whatever the outcome is, let's just be fair and let's have a good time with it.
Yeah, these last couple weeks also really important to get your team ready for playoff time. Every week we mention the competition of the season and getting yourself ready for when it really is important week in and week out to win football games in playoff time. And every single week we go back to, we're taking it week by week. But as you get to the end of the season, you're playing these really competitive games. How important is it for your team to finish strong in these last couple weeks, not take the foot off the gas in any situation, and be ready to play high-level football 100% at 100% every single game, especially as we approach those playoff games?
Well, that's very critical. You want to go in with momentum. And as long as you go in momentum, clicking in all three cylinders, that playoff is going to be, we'll be ready for the playoff because, our league is tough enough. So everybody we play in our league is a competitive game. You're not going to go in and say we're going to blow a team out every week in OAA red. It can go both ways. It can go either or. So we know we're going to be battle-tested going into the playoff, but we want to be battle-tested, prepared, healthy, which is more important than anything, and be ready for the playoff for that.
And you look at the balance in the competition across the state this year, too, and look, no better example than right here in the OAA Red Division. A couple of losses for Clarkston, a loss for West Bloomfield and Rochester Adams as well, and some competitive teams like Lake Orion and Oxford still very interesting in the mix, despite maybe not as favorable of a record as they would hope. And then you think about the playoff time, too, and those points, getting those points and trying to collect home field advantage. It's interesting. A few weeks back, I talked to Mick McCabe, longtime Detroit Free Press high school sports writer, particularly in football, and he mentioned that he doesn't really believe there's that much of a benefit to home field advantage in high school football. Do you agree or disagree with that? How important is that home environment to teams to give them just a little bit of an advantage, if any, in these competitive games?
It's always an advantage. It's just how you prepare throughout that day. When you're on the road, you have to, account for the time that you have to just getting on the bus and getting players together, getting all your equipment all put together and loaded on the bus, and that drive time, and it's just the mental aspect of it just changes. And then it's nothing like playing in front of your fans. When you play in front of your fans and your school base, you tend to play a little bit better in terms of individual performance. But I think home field advantage is always a key to throughout the playoff. You know, the first 3 games, you want to win get those home games, and it's nothing like playing in front of your fans.
You talk about this West Bloomfield team, you talk about talent, but now you're looking at this team too and seeing just how deep it is with the performances of guys in second and third strings that are now playing combination of first string and second string ball over the last couple weeks. Then you think about guys that may be coming back from injury soon. Lorenzo Williams has had some injury issues over the last several weeks. We saw Bryce Rowe come back last week. Not an injury situation, but still back in the lineup against Oxford. And then Rick Nance, the big one that is certainly getting the focus for the Lakers at quarterback. If you may, if there's a status update on Rick Nance, when do you expect him to be back into game action?
Well, we hopefully have him back by the first week of the playoffs. He can come back sooner than that, but we're just being safe and making sure that he's mentally ready and physically ready. So it's something that he's ready to come back, but we told him to just wait, follow doctor's orders, and in the first week of the playoff, he should be ready.
Having those guys return to full strength, getting those lineups back to 100% and still having that depth, what does that bring to your team as you get into playoff time and you're really trying to throw these teams that are always well prepared, definitely talented, and certainly winners off as you're playing them in these competitive games that are win or go home?
Oh, it's win or go home. You hit it right on the button. That's been our message to the players, and that's what playoff football mentality is all about, that you can't make mistakes. Those mistakes can haunt you, and those mistakes can put you back and out the playoff and send you home. Perfect example, last year when we played Rochester Adams, we missed the extra point. How critical that was at the time. So every kick, every field goal, every block, every touchdown, they all have to mean something and account for something, because at the end of the day, those little things come back to haunt you.
All right, Tyrese Grace, head coach of your West Bloomfield Lakers, and Tyler Keefe doing a great job on This Week in Laker Football. You can watch the entire edition of This Week in Laker Football tonight at the beginning of our broadcast. We kick it all off at 6 o'clock with a half-an-hour program, and then Tyler and I will do the pregame show. Going to be a lot of fun tonight. Huge game. Come out to the game, West Bloomfield. Support the Lakers. You only got to drive a couple of miles over to Southfield A&T at Lasher 10 Mile. Don't expect to just walk in. The tickets could be sold out tonight, and the MHSAA, Michigan High School Athletic Association, is urging you to get your tickets in advance. You can go to the Laker Athletic page, get on the internet and Google the right location to go to. Get your tickets, they're only $5, and then come out to the game. And of course, if you can't make it, then we invite you to tune in right here on Civic Center TV, on YouTube, on Facebook, and all of our outlets. We'll have it for you. And then just, again, being fair and good to our friends over at Bally Sports, they'll have it as well. And they do an incredible job covering high school athletics, and we salute them and thank them for all the help that they provided to us. So either way, come to the game, tune into Bally, tune into our broadcast tonight. Tyler and I are really looking forward to the broadcast, and it's going to cap off a great Friday. So that's it for me. Enjoy your day today around the greater West Bloomfield area. Have a terrific day. Tyler Keefe will be in here next with the MegaCast, a whole another hour of local programming, and we'll see you tonight on Laker Football. Make sure you tune in tonight for more exciting Laker football coverage. See you Monday morning, 9:30 here on The Splash.